What's up, YouTube artists and aspiring artists? It's Mike here with Aristotle Custom Spray Paint Art. It has been a long time since I've made a video. I've missed it greatly. I am back. I have a new studio space set up. I'm ready to go. I can't promise how many videos I'm going to churn out, but I'm going to start again. So with that in mind, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There will be more content coming. I know most of you watching the videos are not subscribed, and there's a ton of content to go through. Most of the videos don't have very many views. There's a lot of hidden gems in there, some good tips, some good time lapses, so check those out. And before we get started, hit that like button and get ready for another. Now for this spray paint art tutorial, you will need a few items, one of which, and the most confusing for many of you, is poster board. This is the brand I use. Hopefully it focuses. It is Art Skills Heavyweight Board White. I bought it at Walmart. There's a few other places you can buy it in North America. If you don't live in North America, I'm not sure where you can find it. Try to find some cardstock with a matte side and a glossy side. The glossy side is what you're gonna paint on, and that's gonna keep the paint from seeping into the paper. In every video, there's a ton of people asking questions about this. If you guys aren't in North America, try to help each other out. Drop a comment down below if you know where to find this stuff elsewhere. The poster board I buy comes in 22" by 28" sheets, and usually that's too big for me to paint on. If I'm just practicing, I'm gonna waste a bit too much paint. So I do cut my poster boards. I use a cutting mat like so. This straight edge grid tool, any proper straight edge would work. And this Rotary Cutter, just a round blade, kind of like a X-Acto knife. They're insanely sharp. So if you do buy one of these, be careful, because you can easily cut yourself. Like pretty much all of my spray paint stuff, it's been in storage. This poster board is a little bit worse for wear. I'm gonna take the flattest part here and I'm gonna cut this bit off. I'm gonna give you a quick look at how I do that. For this, you simply wanna just make sure the edges are lined up with the cutting mat. Most will have a grid. If you're trying to cut a certain size, now's the time to make sure you're set up for that. For my purposes, the exact size doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go with 22 by 16". I got a hunch that's a standard frame size as well. Maybe we'll create a masterpiece and someone will wanna frame it one day. I'm just gonna put my flat edge down, push down on it, and cut straight across. Watch your fingers, and there you go. For today's tutorial, we're gonna need a few other things. A scrap piece of poster board. For me, this is the piece that I just cut off. We're gonna be using some spray paint. The first two beginner tutorials have been in black and white. I put a call to action on what you guys wanted to see for a YouTube tutorial. And all we're gonna do today is add two colors. We're gonna mix it up a bit. We're gonna do a few new techniques that you might not have seen before. We'll probably throw a galaxy in. I'm kind of combining a few requests here, but nonetheless, it should come together for a pretty cool painting. Keeping in mind, I'm pretty out of practice. I don't think I've painted in a year maybe. It's been a long time. So for the video, we're gonna need Rust-Oleum, Painter's Touch. This is paint and primer gloss white. I have it in quite a few colors. Black, white, definitely needed for today, and I'd say grab yourself a can or two of a different color. I also use Rust-Oleum Quick Color. This is available at Home Depot alongside the other stuff, usually on the bottom shelf. I have this in only black and white. Key here is to shake this up really good. It's a thinner paint, it's a little bit more transparent, and it's really good for shading, some misty effects, etc. Hopefully we'll see this one in action today. Next up, we have Rust-Oleum Gloss Clear. This is clear coat. This is gonna be a nice finishing spray to make the whole painting look nice and glossy and even texture-wise. It is also used quite a bit in the process to keep the paint moist. Anytime you need to rework something, maybe you're doing some texturing, some paint peeling, this is the can you'll need. If you're in hot temperatures, buy a lot of it. You'll probably go through it pretty quick. Nonetheless, always good to have in your arsenal a can of clear coat. Another paint I'll probably bring into the mix, but is definitely not required for today, is gonna be just a hint of some Montana Gold spray paint. I always painted with Rust-Oleum. I tried a few other brands at the start. Krylon, I think, wasn't a fan. I painted some murals for a business here in Edmonton a long time ago, and I picked up a bunch of these cans. They can make for some pretty cool colors. That's a really vibrant, bright pink I don't have in anything else. Usually for misty effects I can use it. They also have a transparent kind of Brand, you can tell by the ring if it's transparent looking on the ring. This is really good for misty effects and space gas, stuff like that. We are most likely going to need a round object today to make a planet of some kind, a moon. To do that, we're going to use a round object. The key here is having a really thin edge. Guess what? If you bought spray paint, you already have one. Your spray paint cap works great. Keep in mind they can deform over time. So try to switch them up, throw them away as your cans die, and use a fresh one. Bath and Body Works candles. If you have someone in your life like I do who loves these, as soon as they bring a new one home, go snatch up all the lids and you have a beautiful planet stencil. Rubber gloves, keep your hands clean. I'm gonna use some painter's tape today. You'll see why shortly. Also, you're gonna need magazine paper, a flyer, something like that, or a plastic bag or two. Of course, we have a table to paint on, and I actually have a Lazy Susan, which is just kind of a turntable, so I can spin my painting around. That's totally optional. It helps to film videos, so I like using one. A couple other good tools to have in your arsenal are some sandpaper. That's gonna help you keep stuff clean. A few little tools here. You have a palette knife, pretty standard. Mine is ready to go. I need a new one. It is full of paint, and I doubt I'm getting that off anytime soon. Foam brush, always handy. We might not use one today. Pointed object. This is like a clay working tool. This is really good for signing your painting, even doing some detailed etching. And there's another style of palette knife that you can incorporate if you wanted to. Hobby knife, be very careful with these. This is gonna help keep the caps of your spray paint clean. You're just gonna go in and kind of carve it out, always pointing away from yourself. Very, very important is a respirator. I always catch grief for not wearing one. I'm going to not wear one in this painting. I'm going to have some good ventilation going on, and I gotta get through the tutorial and talk to you guys. So I know I could record the voice after. For this time, I'm not going to. Please always wear this. It is super silly not to do so. All right, we're gonna get started here. I'm just gonna tape this down. Because my poster board is wobbly, it is definitely gonna affect the painting. There's also a couple of bends in it. You're definitely gonna see that in the end product. So if you're going for perfection, make sure you have a nice clean piece of poster board to start with. All right, so for this tutorial, we are gonna start off by planning things out just a little bit. We're gonna go in and we're gonna go with 3 little planets. Boom, there, here, and here. So coming with Rust-Oleum Quick Color. This is just going to, actually, let's not complicate things. Many of you don't have that. Go ahead, use your gloss black. Just a light mist, mark where everything's going to go. To keep this somewhat simple for everybody following along, I'm gonna use blue and red in this tutorial. I might wind up using some other colors, but these are gonna be my 2 main colors for the video. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna work across the sky a little bit in blue, not too much paint, but a decent amount. If you have another blue on hand, go ahead and use that. And that's going to be that for now. So we'll take this back. I'm gonna get some gloves on. Hope you guys are all doing good. It has been a long time since we have done a video together. That being said, please hit the subscribe button. Most people who stumble across this video are not subscribed to the channel, and there's a ton of extra stuff to check out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and drop a like on this video. We're gonna go ahead and pull these back. It's gonna leave us with what we have left to work with. So for this, I picked blue and red because they're contrasting, and that's gonna be a good thing to start thinking about when you're painting. When you have dull muted looking paintings, it's often you don't have enough contrast. So I know I said I was just going to use red and blue. I know that red and yellow interact pretty awesomely together, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of yellow in too. If you have it on hand, sweet. If you don't, no problem. Red. As you can see, it's not a ton of paint. There's a bit of overspray onto the rest of the painting, and that's totally fine. With the next step here, I'm gonna go in and prepare to texturize our planets. I'm not gonna add any white right now. Just gonna add black. I'm gonna try to leave a bit of the edges, just so it kind of looks, this is gonna make a bit of an explosion looking effect, a fiery sun if you will, and then leaving the edges not solid from black is really going to help when we put our planet stencil down and make it look like there's actually a heat source coming from the middle. So I'm electing plastic bag here. We're going to go in, just tap our plastic bag down, pull it back. I'm happy with that one right off the bat. Play around with this technique. If you just place it on and pull it off, you get some cool effects. If you streak your fingers, other cool things happen. Drying time that you leave the planets is another big factor. On all of these here, I'm just gonna kind of go into the center. I'm gonna get more of that fiery yellow to pop through. And I like that quite a bit. So here's what I like to do. If we're talking the true best way to shade, you're gonna go in with like a misty kind of red here. Then you're gonna go to a lighter, more translucent black, and then go to the black Rust-Oleum. A lot of people here will just go in with the thick black Rust-Oleum can that sprays like a fire hose and just do like an angled swoop across here, and you just get like a straight line. You do want a curve, it is a sphere, and this is really gonna add to that effect. So I like to go in with this and usually top up with a bit of this, but sometimes I just stick with this. Key with these things, it's not the same paint compound exactly. I do like that it's the same manufacturer, so it's probably got some similar elements. Shake this can really good. I'm just gonna kiss the bottom edge of one of them, move on to the next. I'm really gonna try to leave as much of that as I can. Now the reason we went in with the blue here first is so that none of the blue winds up in the planet, and any of the overspray of the planet on top of the blue will get peeled off when we make our galaxy. I wanted blue and I wanted this so that they would contrast each other. We're ready to go. We're gonna put our planet stencils down. Really, if you're just painting at home, take a 5-10 minute break, let this dry. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to tell you to. It is going to be the one tip you guys need to do. If you're painting live, it's one thing. Even then, you want a quality product. But if you're just painting at home, take your time. Don't try to mimic the street artists. There's no reason your painting can't take you an hour, 2 hours if you wanted to. And I guarantee you'll have a bit of a better result. So here we go. I'm going to lay this down as best we can. So now that we have these back on, we're gonna plan out our terrain up here. And I think what we're gonna do, here's a technique for kind of foolproof terrain or mountain type things. If you guys need a clean line somewhere in here, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have the ability to kind of get that crisp, distinct line without a whole lot of overspray. So that's where something like this comes in for me. Even something like that looks cool. I'm just gonna lay this down. I'm gonna try to get a bit of the the lower layer coloring in before I cover this thing in black. So Because we have red and blue in the sky contrasting, I'm gonna do kind of a similar thing with the mountains, although I'm really gonna try to make it like a red planet as far as the terrain that is in the front here. So that kind of looks cool. From there, I'm gonna come in just a bit of blue. And that's kind of cool, so I'm gonna go with that. Up here, we're going back to our sky. We're gonna just do a very light, leaving some even negative white space, coat of black here. I'm doing kind of bursts. I'm also just really making sure I'm moving my hand around. I do want a light mist, and I really do mean light around each one of the planets. That's the one area where people like to pool up a ton of paint. You don't need that, but you just need an outline. Contrast is really important. So as dark as those planets looked, with pure black in the background, they're really gonna pop, so you don't need a ton of paint. Now, one thing I do like to do is kind of layer the stars. So with that, I'm gonna spray off to the side, get the big globs off, flick straight down on top of the canvas. And there's gonna be a section in the middle here. We're gonna start creating our galaxy, so we want a lot of stars right in this area here. Again, the white stars and the black contrast. It's really pleasing to the eye, and it's really gonna start to build up like a vast space scene in the background here. So I'm satisfied with that for now. Some of you will laugh because we're gonna destroy a lot of this in the next step. We're gonna grab ourselves a plastic bag here. And now I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna be very, very careful to hold my planet down. And I'm gonna just tap out some of the, I guess, background for my galaxy that I'm planning to do. So for that, I'm gonna do a very, very sparse spray of clear coat just to make sure I don't run into any problems. Again, always shake your cans up. I'm gonna streak across here, kind of where I had all my blue before. Leaving my planet stencils down, I'm gonna go in and very lightly tap out on some textures. I'm really gonna hardly place any pressure on the paper at all. And as you see here, what's starting to come out is this really nice kind of nebulous effect. Making sure to change the bag, roll it around in a different way so you're getting different unique textures. I'm gonna definitely need more clear coat here. It's better to do a little bit and add than it is to oversaturate it at first because it will muddy your paint. I'll hold this down again, come in. I kind of want to work the edge of the planet here without going too crazy, just to make it truly look like it's behind. Now I'm just trailing it off a little bit, adding to the variety, and you're really starting to see it kind of come together in the night sky. We're nowhere near done, but it could be as simple as this. You just want to add a little touch to your skies, and you don't have to go much further than this step. Sneak around here. I'm going to work my way around the rest of the planets. Try not to get my mic cable. Oh. All right, so as you see here, we had a situation with the planet stencils lifting up, and we're just gonna work around that now. I think it looks pretty cool as is. No real issues there because we're texturizing the back. When this cap flipped over, it didn't really do much damage. So we're just gonna keep going here. I really like that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I'm going to try to lay down these planet stencils one more time so we can do another round of a couple effects. I'm going to come in with Rust-Oleum Quick Color White, again in the mantra of taking your time. I'm rushing this a little bit, but take your time, let this dry properly, and you'll have a really nice effect. Shake this can as good as you can. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna come in very kind of loosely and somewhat methodically, and I'm just gonna add a bit of gaseous effect here to what's going on. Brighten up a few spots. If you overlap your finger ever so slightly with the glove on, it's really a tough thing to do. You can get a few stars going as you do this as well, but one thing at a time. I definitely recommend not overcomplicating it. So just going through, highlighting a few areas. And one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go in and really just brighten up this bit here where we're planning to put our terrain. I'm gonna add that in right now. Next, I do have these Montana cans. They're transparent. And I'm just gonna go in and add a little bit of depth now to that space gas. I added some whites in here. I'm just gonna give some colored variants to that here. This is a clogged cap. Most of my paint hasn't been used in a long time. No worries with this. Just go in, away from your body, and cut its head off. In reality, you gotta hold it down a little bit. You're just gonna cut out with a sharper knife. Go in and cut that out. So I'm gonna take this and just add a little bit of little details, a little bit more blue in the translucent, maybe a little bit down here as well. See, it's really gonna kind of break up just having a flat black night sky, which is usually never the case. If you're looking up, there's usually some kind of hues, some kind of variance to the light in the sky. So we're gonna go and do that. Do another quick round of stars here. Well, because we've sprayed some misty effects and whatnot, the stars we did lay down have gotten maybe a little dull, and that's a good thing. It's gonna add some depth, like they're less bright than the stars you see closer now that we're adding. So we're gonna just add some brighter, bolder stars here. And I'm pretty satisfied with what we have. We're gonna go ahead and move on to this section here. So with this, we know we laid some colors down, some blues and reds here. I'm gonna try to leave some of this misty line here. I'm gonna come in with just black and do a bit of an outline here. I didn't have anything up here, so I'm gonna cut it out here and do just a couple little terrains. Then we're gonna go in and texturize it. Quick streaks here, leaving some of that blue behind. So that's all it takes. I am gonna come in with just a little bit of this Rust-Oleum Quick Color White. I'm gonna let this dry for like 30 seconds first. I'm gonna brighten up the edge line here of this mist, so it makes it really look like there's some light coming out of the terrain. All right, so now we're gonna go in, we're just gonna texturize and make our mountains. We're gonna keep some of this light line here, some of the blue, all of the blue, and just tackle these rock formations. What I'm hoping for is a nice red and blue that really makes it pop. That looks pretty good. I really like that. One thing we can do, this little bit here, truly does look like this mountain's off in the distance a little bit, so I'm gonna leave a little bit of that fade line there and kind of work my mountain in starting here. We're gonna do a bit of shading down here with some quick color black. Make sure you shake this can really good. We're just gonna do a tiny, tiny light touch. That is it. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna sign down here. This will be the first signature I've done in a very, very long time. On that note, let's pop these planets off. That looks pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna peel the tape off. This part's usually pretty satisfying. And I think that's pretty much a wrap on our first tutorial. Guys, we learned how to incorporate some contrasting colors to make a nice bright popping space scene. If you haven't watched the first couple of beginner tutorials, make sure to check those out. That is the foundation for everything we've done in this video here today. Hopefully you guys had fun following along. Make sure to experiment, try this tutorial out for yourself. I hope you enjoy your results. Share them with me over on my Instagram, Aristotle. Once again, guys, it is great to be back. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are close to 20,000 subscribers. I need to acknowledge that for a second because it's truly amazing. I really, really appreciate all your support. I'm gonna try to make this a part of my routine, get back into the swing of things so we can all learn, progress, and learn the beautiful art of spray paint together. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.